Now it's time for show, don't tell. What it actually means.
I don't know if you're like me, but it took me years to fully understand the concept of show, don't tell. So this is what it basically means. You have an entire, beautiful language at your disposal. You have the ability to make every moment of your story vivid and alive. Every writer has a distinct image of what a certain scene or setting looks like. But sometimes they forget that somewhere out there in the wide world, there is exactly the right word to describe what they actually mean. I'm going to pull out an example that I used in a previous video now. Bernie was so fat, he had trouble getting through the doorway. This is telling. A good indicator of a telling sentence is the word was, which is something you want to use sparingly. But more about that in a minute. The reason that this sentence is telling is because you are telling the reader that Bernie is fat. And in telling the reader that Bernie is fat, you have shattered the illusion of your story. You have reminded them that there is an author behind all of it. You have pulled them out of this fictional world, crushed any realism it had into tiny little pieces, and slammed them back into their living room with nothing more than a book in their hands. Whoa, Amanda, that's a little extreme, don't you think? Definitely! Your job as a writer is to take someone out of their reality into a fictional incarnation of your imagination. That is not an easy thing to do, and the barrier between fantasy and reality is delicate. You really want to write an entire story and just have it be okay or good? Go to the extreme! Make it excellent! You want to capture their belief and you don't want to surrender it for an instant! Now, it's possible that not all readers are this picky. Telling sentences are becoming more and more common in popular fiction, but I believe that you should write the best book that you are capable of. So how do I show you that Bernie is fat? Bernie wobbled sideways to squeeze his bulk through the door. I never once tell the reader that Bernie is fat. That's the first score on my side of the court. Because this sentence is active, it actually shows the character doing something. It doesn't have the telltale voice of an author directing the reader's attention. Score number 2. Now look at my word choice. Wobbled and squeeze. These both give you an indication as to just how large Bernie is. It wouldn't be nearly as vivid if I decided to say Bernie turned sideways to fit through the doorway. The reader would still get the idea, and it is still an active sentence, and it's also showing, but it's just not as picturesque.
Words to avoid at all costs. The ly adverbs and the passive was.
First, let's talk ly adverbs. That is, adverbs ending in ly. You've probably read a dozen quotes from famous authors like Elmore Leonard, who said, "Adverbs are a mortal sin," or Stephen King's infamous "The road to hell is paved with adverbs." For years, I resented these judgmental opinions. After all, an adverb is used to describe something, and the writer's job is to describe. Then one day, it just clicked. These authors are not opposed to the intricate description of things. They realize that using ly adverbs is lazy. Limes to coconuts, there is a better descriptor for your sentence than an ly adverb. You have a dictionary and a thesaurus. Use them. Instead of "he ran swiftly" or "he moved quickly," try "he raced," "he bolted," "he dashed," "he sprang." There are endless possibilities. Now for was. Like the ly adverb, was too is lazy. John Thompson says we use the passive was when we are unwilling to do the hard work to find the mode of action. Don't say, "Lily was sad." That is stiff, unoriginal, and generic. It's also telling. Finding the mode of action in this case would be finding how we know that Lily is sad. Not why she's sad, but what clued us into that fact. For example, sadness weighed in her eyes. The sunlight glistened on her tears. She cried. There are some cases when using was or a passive sentence is stylistic. You throw it in for variety or a different sound. This can be fine, but don't make a habit of it. You want to keep most of your sentences active, and you don't want to use was more than you absolutely have to. It's a weak word, and it weakens your manuscript. Using just these 3 tips will make a mind-blowing difference in the quality of your manuscript. So go forth, young writer! Tomorrow I will be posting on my blog a cautionary tale of thesaurus use, so be sure to check that out if you are a habitual user. If you have any questions or topic suggestions, you can ask me in the comments below, or at my blog, www.amandakThompson.tumblr.com, or my Facebook page, Amanda K. Thompson, or on my Twitter feed, @WordbenderManda. Ta-ta for now!